Okay, this is our first lecture for C#, and I'm going to be checking to make sure everything is working properly. Well, for some reason, it doesn't look like my live window is updating, so I'll have to check into that. But let's go ahead and get started. This is C# programming. When you select the C# programming course on your online classroom, the first thing that should show up is this course homepage, and you'll see events show up on the calendar, so check that for due dates for quizzes and assignments. I've got a couple of news items on here already. Let's go on to the content section. We've got a little overview, and then in the table of contents, you'll see everything, all of the information for the course. I put a little biographical information in here. So if you're interested in my background, let's go ahead and look at the welcome section. There's a video that is there to welcome you to the class. If we look at the syllabus, I'm going to go ahead and download that and open it. Well, that's not. Okay, here's the syllabus. Best way to contact me is with email, and they have asked us to always keep official course correspondence through the okstate.edu system. So if you want to ask me a question, you'll need to do it from your okstate.edu email address and send it to my okstate.edu email address. I have listed my phone number here, and that's going to be useful mainly for emergencies, or if you're waiting for a response about some homework question and I haven't seen your email in a couple of days, you can send me a text message to that number. The rest of this page is typical information you should see in other syllabi. Here's an outline that we're planning to follow. This is the first time I've taught the C# course here at OSU OKC. So I may alter this calendar, this outline significantly. But if I do that, I will update the syllabus and notify you so you can get the latest copy. You'll always know what's expected. I will also be using the due dates and availability dates in the online classroom so that you know when things are due. As an online course, you're not expected to come to a building somewhere, but you are expected to participate in class, do the quizzes, turn in the assignments, participate in the discussion groups. Here are some guidelines for your programming assignments, what you'll need to do. You are expected to use Microsoft Visual Studio. I'm going to try to use 2017, although I'm having a little trouble with it. So I don't know what that's about, but if we can get that figured out, we'll go from there. I have Visual Studio 2010 already installed, so I'm going to be using that for today's lesson. So if you have an older version of Visual Studio, do not despair. It will probably still work, and it'll be okay. We will typically have a quiz each week. And we'll typically have a programming exercise that's assigned each week. The programming exercises are fairly high value. The quizzes are like 10 points. The assignments are 30 points. So if you're wondering what I would emphasize, you learn to write programs by programming. So that's the thing you should take from that. We will have 2 exams, major exams, a midterm and a final. The final will be comprehensive. I will be giving you an attendance score based on how much you participate in class. Here is a sample grading calculation. Each quiz is worth 10 points, so if we have 15 of those, that'll be 150 points. Each program assignment is worth 30 points, so if we have 10 of those, that'll be 300 points. The final project will be worth 150 points. The midterm exam will be worth 50 points, the final exam 100, and attendance 100. So based on that set of items, we would have 850 total points available, which means an A would be a minimum of 765 points, B would be 680 points, and so forth. So it's just 90%, 80, 70, 60 are the cutoff points. My makeup policy. Exams and homework are open and available until the due date, at which time they're late. And I don't accept late work. So unless you talk to me and I agree to some other arrangement, don't expect to take a quiz or turn in an assignment late. This other stuff is also stuff that you should have seen before. This version of the syllabus I updated on August 8th. If we have a new one, I'll let you know, and it'll have a new date on it. All right. That was a syllabus. Here's some more links that might be useful. Etiquette for online classes, how to get along with other students, what to do if you feel overwhelmed, some more helpful answers for online students, disability services if you need that. Microsoft Virtual Academy, C# Fundamentals for Absolute Beginners. This is a video series put out by Microsoft. And my current class plan calls for us to watch some of these, so you'll have some videos to watch. And then there's some programming exercises. I will probably put these into more of a structured assignment format as we go along. But if we look at the Microsoft Virtual Academy, this is a series of videos, and you can look at those as needed. This is just basically a list of programming exercises that you can look at and think about in terms of how would I do that as we go along. Here is what you will typically do each week as you're preparing for and working on this class. You need to read the material in the content module for this week. So that would be week 1. You need to read the news item. I will typically have a lecture like this one. I will try to live stream some of those. So if you're able to connect to the live stream, you can participate in that class. If you're not able to participate live, the link should be there so that you can watch it afterward. We're going to be covering the current quiz topics, the reading and or viewing material, and the weekly assignment. Be sure and take the quizzes and submit the assignments by the due dates. As I said, those should show up in your calendar. All right, let's look at week 1 now. So lesson 1 is an overview of some basic concepts that we're going to be looking at in this course. So I downloaded this and opened it. So we'll go through that real quick. We've got OOP concepts, object-oriented programming. So if you're not familiar with those, you should get familiar with them. The .NET framework, so how all of these pieces work together to enable you to write programs that interact with Windows. Visual Studio itself, which hopefully you have installed and gotten working by now. If not, there's another video about installing that, and the Microsoft videos also cover that subject. The MVC, or Model View Controller, model of coding. So we have the business logic, which is the things that we write in the program that make it work properly. The view would be how that information gets presented to the user, and then the controller, that would be how we interact between the business logic and the view. All right, with that in mind, we're going to write our first program. And as I said, my 2017 installation is having a problem, so I'm going to run Visual Studio 2010. So we have a short piece of information here about how to create an account. So there's an account directly on Microsoft. You can download the community edition from visualstudio.com. The current version, I believe, is 2017. And you can set up an Imagine account. That's an educational website. Okay, and once Visual Studio gets going here, we're going to create a new project. And we're going to use Visual C# and select Console Application. And I have put my projects in a specific place on my disk so that I'll be able to find them again quickly. And I'm going to give it a name that allows me to identify it easily. Say OK. It's going to go through all of its permutations to create a program. And you'll notice the instruction says press F5. That's the same thing as clicking on this green triangle that you might identify as a play button. Start debugging, which means it's going to check and verify that the program is up to date. If it's not, it's going to compile it. Once it's compiled it, it's going to run it. Since we didn't tell it to do anything, it will quickly end and be over. So that's a complete program, even though it didn't actually do anything. All right. So the next section is about data types. So these are C# data types that you'll come across. Boolean, byte, character, int, long, and so forth. All made to hold on to different kinds of data. A reference type is holding on to, you might call it a memory location, but it's a way to refer to some piece of memory that you haven't otherwise named or is not convenient for to use the way it's named. Then we have the object type, which refers to objects, which are pieces of code and data that goes with them that we can then communicate with to perform functions. A dynamic type that can store any type of value, string type, pointer type, and so forth. If you need more information about any of those types, you should read up on them. But you will be expected to know something about them as we go along. So if you need more study on those, be sure and do it. The console class allows us to input and output data from the black screen command line you may think of it as. Read key and read line allow you to input data either individual character at a time or an entire line at a time from the user. Write and write line allow you to output data to the screen to be displayed for the user. There's a link here if you want more information about it. We're going to go back to the program that we just got through creating. And they tell you to view the Solution Explorer. That's this window here on the left. And double click on program.cs And that's this window that's open here in the editor window. And you should see that it's the same here in Visual Studio as it is in the document. The main function or method in C#, the method called main, is the single point of entry for our program. Any program you write, you will see a main function that is where the code starts executing when you run that program. So we're going to put in some more code here to make it do something interesting. First, I'm going to make a comment, prompt user for input, console, write line, is your name. And a line with a semicolon, just like C++, if you're familiar with that. I'm going to declare a string variable called s. And populate it with the results of read line. We're going to display another message. Good morning, concatenated with the contents of the S string. And then we're done. I'm going to write the message, press any key to continue. And execute read key, which it will wait until the user presses a key. I didn't give it anywhere to put that key, it just gets discarded, and my program will finish. Okay, now if I run that code again, what is your name? I type in my name. That's what goes into this S string, which then gets concatenated with good morning next line. We output the press any key to continue line. Now it's waiting for a key. As soon as I press a key, it ends the program. All right. So that will give you everything you need in order to make, in order to submit the first assignment. Let's go to my project folder that I created, C# assignment 1. I'm going to right click, choose send to compressed zipped folder, and Windows will copy all of that into a zip file for me. Now, in order to turn in that assignment, I'm going to go to the Dropbox, click on assignment 1, add a file, and let me see if it'll, is that going to work? Here, let's try again. My computer, upload. So you have to click on my computer first, and then you can either drop files or click on the upload button. So I've uploaded my zip file. I click add. Now that I can see it's in there, I'm going to click submit. And I have done the first assignment. Let me know if you have any questions. You can email me. You can post to one of the discussion groups. Oh, let's quickly go through this other stuff before I'm done. So that I've made some discussion groups for you. Introductions, you'll need to post an introductory thread about yourself as part of our first assignment. This help each other forum is for you to ask questions and get answers, hopefully, either about Visual Studio, C# programming, or something else. And I'm going to have discussion groups for each of the homework questions. So keep up with all of those. Dropbox will list all of the Dropboxes for uploading your assignments when they're ready. Quizzes will allow you to go see where the quizzes are and take them. Class list will show you all the members of the class so you can interact with them. And grades will show you your grades so you can see how you're doing as we go along through the course. So I think I mentioned I'm going to be hard to get a hold of the first week of class. I'm going to be out of town, and I don't know if I will be able to have internet access or even phone access at any point during that week. So I have delayed the due dates on the first quiz and first assignment till the following week. But anyway, if you have any questions, you can talk among yourselves in the discussion group, and you can also send me your questions by email, and I will try to address those as soon as I can. Anyway, look forward to this semester, and I hope you do too. I hope everyone does well, and I will be seeing you around. Thank you.